We were definitely dumbed down by our creators a few different times in our ancient history. Today, I'm gonna dig into that topic. So, let's go.
Good morning. This is your wake up call.
Let's begin now.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Now Awake Wisdom. Today, my talk is going to be on how we were dumbed down so that we couldn't be godlike or be like our creators. Now, either book that you read, if you read the Bible or if you take into effect the Book of Enoch, or if you even go back to the Sumerian tablets with the Book of Enki, all of these books will tell you that before the flood, men lived to be anywhere up to 1,000 years old. Now, I believe that people were super smart back before the flood, and they had many, many technologies even better than what we can do today. They were probably going to space and, natural energies that come from the earth and building with natural objects like stone, but able to work with it much better than we are today. And if you think about it, Albert Einstein only lived to be, less than 100 years old, and he came up with so many different, inventions, and he was a genius. Now, if you can imagine Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla living to be 1,000 years old, how many more things they could have came up with and they could have created just by having, 10 times longer of a life. Now, what I believe is that if you believe the Sumerian tablets, I believe that men were getting to be too much like their creators, living 800, 900, 1,000 years old. One person keeping all of that memory in their head to be 1,000 years old, they could have created anything, that people would be learning how to do everything. So I believe we were getting too smart. So our creators, if you read the Bible, it says God after the flood. But if you read the Sumerian tablets, it would have been the Anunnaki. Genesis 6:3. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days will be 120 years. I believe they manipulated our DNA. In the Bible, it says men should only live to be 120 years old, and that God was probably Enki, manipulating our DNA. Like I said, if we were living to be 1,000 years old, there's nothing we couldn't do. Everybody would be super smart, probably learn to develop their whole brain throughout that much time. Bring out things that we can't do now. After a couple hundred years, you'd probably learn how to use telekinesis and communicate telepathically and whatnot. And after the flood, making our lifespans only 120 years at the most, plunged us into the dark ages. We lost all the technology. 120 years wasn't enough. One lifetime wasn't enough for people to make, all that technology and keep it and pass it on to other people. So it plunged us into the dark ages, and it took us a long time to get to where we're at now. But where we're at now with computers can keep all of people's whole lives work, on the internet, and it can interconnect everybody's thinking. And that's why in the last 100 years or so, we've went from riding horses to exploring space and having cars and boats and airplanes and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if the Anunnaki are still around. They never wanted us to get that smart because we were supposed to be slaves, and making us to live only to 120 years would dumb us down so they could keep control of us and keep us in slavery, much like our government's doing now, trying to keep control of us. But with the internet, things are getting out of control because we have more of a hive consciousness now, because one person can work their whole life on one subject, put all their work into the internet, and another person can attain most of their life's work in a matter of minutes. So each person has access to all the knowledge in the world, so they can access it just like it was in their brain, like they've been alive for 900 years. So if you really want to, you can access all the memory from all the other people. So we can advance much, much quicker than in the past. And where do the creators, what do they think of us now that we can do this when we've been dumbed down and in slavery for the last 2,000 years, and now we're actually learning how to use memory and learn things much, much quicker because of the internet. Also, if you're reading the Bible, it even documents in there that men came to be so smart that I believe it says something like when they were building the Tower of Babel, that there was nothing that men couldn't do at that point. Genesis 11:1 through 9. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As men moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone, and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the men were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. From there the Lord scattered them all over the face of the whole earth. That's amazing. I think that clearly shows that God / our creator was the Anunnaki, be it space aliens or actual devils and demons and angels. Either way you want to look at it, both could be correct, but I believe they are higher life form, definitely trying to confuse us so that we don't reach their level. They were smarter than us at the time being, and we were created to be slaves. So they manipulated our DNA in order to keep us slaves, in order to keep us dumb. And like it said in that verse, there would be nothing that we wouldn't be able to do, especially if we all got along, all talked the same language, and were able to live 900 years and keep our memories and technology and to teach people after us. There would be nothing that we couldn't do. And obviously, somebody didn't like that idea and did something about it. Changed us physically so that we could not advance to our full potential. So, God or the Anunnaki had to come down and confuse our language just to keep us from advancing. And I believe that at that point, we were getting too smart and too much like our creators. So confusing the language didn't work. Well, I mean, it worked for a long time, but now we have all these different languages. But like I said, with the internet, confusing our languages doesn't really matter because we have so much technology that everybody's lifespan of work is combined with everyone else's, and you can get all the information you want in a matter of seconds at the tip of your fingers on Google. So another thing they did besides confusing the language was to shorten our lifespans to 120 years, because 120 years wasn't long enough to learn enough stuff to be as smart as the gods. But now that we have internet, what are the gods going to do? Are they going to let us keep progressing? Or are they going to come down and try to mess that up somehow too? Like they confused our language. Now that people can use the internet and access all of this information and act hive-minded like, and everybody brings little pieces of information to this main artificial intelligence brain that everybody can access whenever they want. The only thing left for humans is to develop our mental powers like telekinesis and telepathy and other mental powers like that, materializing things and changing matter into different things. So I don't know if it's possible to do that quickly, but again, with the internet, maybe one person can make one breakthrough and another person can make another breakthrough and add them all together and then get them into a system or a program that teaches people to learn these things at a rapid pace, and as the techniques get better and better, go to a more and more rapid pace that you may be able to learn how to use these abilities within a matter of years or months or days or weeks, even once it gets perfected to a certain point. So with all of this technology that humans are able to use now, the sky's the limit. And like with the Tower of Babel, they had to come down and confuse our language, and with the flood, they had to lower our lifespans to 120 years. And now that we have the internet and able to keep all this memory and access to it, what are they going to do? Are they going to come down and shut down the internet, or is that what the plan is for them to come and invade us and take out all our technology, or EMP or something to take out all of our power and lose all our technology to put us back to the dark ages with no cars or electricity or anything? What are they going to do? Are they going to let us advance? Are they going to come in and reveal themselves and have us, just say, hey, we screwed up, maybe you could be like us and we're going to help you advance and we're going to give you these things back? Or are they going to come in and try to wipe us out and take out our technology? If you look into the Bible, the book of Revelation, is that what Revelation is? Because we become too smart, they come down and they, kick some ass and wipe everybody out just because we're getting too close to them again. Because it seems like if you read these stories and look into the Bible, every time we get too close to being like them, they come down and mess it up somehow. So I don't know. That's pretty much my conclusion to this talk. So if you would like to see more videos on the Anunnaki, like where they're at now and what they're up to, please hit the thumbs up button now. And if you want me to post them this week, hit the subscribe button. I think I brought up a lot of interesting subjects, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about it too. So expand on this. Send me some messages. Put them in the comments. Send them to my email. I want to hear what you guys have to say and expand on this. Maybe we could even get something going to, advance us even faster to get these things in motion to see if we can become godlike. So, leave me comments and send me messages. NowAwakeWisdom@gmail.com. And I'm definitely excited to hear from you guys, to see what you have to say. If you like this video, hit the like button. Definitely subscribe so you can see more of these videos. I'm going to have a lot more topics I have to talk about. So, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. Believe in self, believe in unity, and love conquers all. Peace.
Shall we begin?